The OnePlus 3 is here now, and it's costing the same like the predecessor. For example, $399 US or euro. More prices, please have a look in the description of this video below. So same price, new technology. And this aluminum unibody, I really love that. It looks great, it's feeling great. Of course, it's robust, and so meaning you have one piece of metal going around the edges. You might know that, and especially that design is reminding on the HTC 10, of course, and its predecessors. So compare the prices once more, HTC 10 more than $270 more. So I really can imagine that a lot of you will again be having a closer look onto the OnePlus 3. But when we are on the back side, of course, that means you have a built-in battery. All right, I know the LG G5, you can take out the battery nevertheless, but I'm really not loving this magic slot. I find it a little bit tricky, but that's another history. So now let's come into this one here. It's fixed, it's built in, and now 3000 milliamps. Instead of 3300 like the predecessor, but we have a new processor, coming to that a little bit later. So we have to just test it and try in the runtime tests. These are coming as a text on my website, like always. So please have a click here on the icon mobiwatch.net. Give me about a week or maybe a little bit more for these one here, because we have battery runtime test benchmarks that takes quite a while. So this is the fixed built battery, but you can have quick charge, or like OnePlus is calling it dash charge, as they developed that by themselves, meaning that you have, at least they are telling us, a 60% battery level in 30 minutes charging time only. That shall bring you through the day, because you're using 4 amps on 5 volts, so very high charging current. On the other hand, they have chargers like that one is in the box, or for example this one. This is a little sneak peek. At the end you will get some view onto accessory, and this, for example, is for your car. Again, a dash charge plus that additional cable over here, like we know it from OnePlus, that typical Type-C connector down here. You can have one or side or the other, but nevertheless it's a standard 2.0 concerning the data rate. So you have that cable and go with the typical Type A into your PC, so you can connect, of course, directly onto your telephone, onto your computer. But with these accessories and the dash charge charger, you have more control in the charger itself. So for example, what the software and the phone is doing on quick charge by Qualcomm, they are doing here a little bit more in the charger. OnePlus at least is telling me so, and thus having more heating here in the charger and not in the phone, so that's good for the battery. I'm not quite sure if this is really right, so we have to see in 3 or 6 months how these quick charged batteries are doing then, but at the moment I'm just giving you the info OnePlus is telling us here. So they're controlling temperature and different parameters of the battery, thus to have it keep it in good conditions, the battery. So this is that. Let's come to the display. It's not the size that have changed that much, because it's now 5.48 instead of 5.46 inch, so 139 millimeters, but it's now Super AMOLED Diamond Matrix, meaning first of all you have this great contrast, and especially you have that high viewing angle stability. You can't reach with classical IPS LCD panels with that one, and you have a on dual axis polarized filter on it, so at least the manufacturer is telling us that you can have a good view even in direct sunshine. I can't test it at the moment, just have it like this one here in the lights, but that's not really the same like in sunlight, so I can't tell at the moment, but just give you the information. And it's Gorilla Glass 4 2.5D, meaning you have that form like a pillow going a little bit around the edges here, so you have almost seamless Here, this aluminum unibody and the glass, so it's feeling really classy, really, yeah, like a way more expensive phone. So I really love the haptics and the design and the optics and the everything of this one here. The resolution is the same one like on the predecessor, so it's Full HD, 1080 by 1920 pixels, coming to an okay pixel density of 402 ppi, 251 pixels per square millimeter. That's, yeah, average. No new record, but it's okay. And on the other hand, are measured here on that screen 393 nits. That's 13% brighter than usual for OLED. So it's totally okay, especially for that price. Thumbs up for the display too. Yeah, coming to the cameras, of course. For some of you, most important, I know. You have Sony sensors on both front and back side, and both have an aperture of 2.0. So kind of okay for a smartphone, the best ones, but okay, gathering lots of light. And you have on the front 8 megapixel photos, video in Full HD. So a big step ahead compared to the predecessor that was 5 megapixels and 720p only. On the back side now, 16 megapixels instead of 13 and 4K video. So let's have a look into the camera user interface. Oh, let's start it. I'm coming to that Oxygen OS, that user interface a little bit later. But if you want, you can have that O for open camera. And here we are in the camera user interface. You have some simple settings here. And especially you can now have a manual mode if you want to have your exposure time and ISO numbers and whatever. And like you know that you have that manual focus setting here, and then adjust brightness if you want or need to. That's staying the same. Nevertheless, you have that manual mode, and you now have raw photos, and you have auto HDR, meaning you do not have to think by yourself if you need HDR or not. Just do it on auto, and it's coming into the picture if needed by itself. If you want to change the mode between photo and video, just a vertical swipe over here. That's quick and simple and yeah, comfortable. So the user interface and the camera, thumbs up too. Coming to the processor, it's now that Snapdragon 820 instead of 810 on the predecessor, meaning they have the strongest, the most powerful by Qualcomm at the moment. Again, the same like in the HTC 10, that's way more expensive. And LG G5, for example, that's here in Germany, $300 more. So again, that's a good price relation. And for those of you who are not so familiar with these tech stuff things, let me just have a quick explanation that, okay, it's 4 cores only. I know most other phones have 8 cores at the moment. Nevertheless, it are very strong, very powerful 4 cores, cryo cores like Qualcomm is calling them. And you have a very powerful graphics module, that Adreno 530. And here, 6 GB of internal working memory. 6 GB, the most powerful or the biggest RAM I've ever had. I can't wait for the benchmark testing. These, again, will follow up as text in the final review, again, on my website here. Give me a week for that, please, because all this takes time, of course. So 6 GB internal working memory, wonderful. And of course, 4G, 300 megabit, Wi-Fi SC, NFC. This is a fingerprint sensor and everything you want to. So that's totally okay. There's just one thing that's not so good, depending on what you want to do with your phone. Because if you open this one here, that slot, you will find 2 slots, yes, but both for SIM. So positive is you have dual SIM, 2 nano SIMs, by the way, but no slot for micro SD card. So you cannot expand the internal memory. That has, again, good message, 64 GB, leaving net sum, I just guess 55, 53 GB. So it's totally enough, of course, for most of you, but those who have, let's say, 4K video or whatever, so big data, they might be in the situation that they need more. And for those of you, you have that, again, you also, USB on the go. So you need a little small adapter cable, some euros or something, and you can have USB sticks or full HDDs with own power supply plugged on here and have big data, but not comfortably on board with a micro SD card, unfortunately. But that was the same on the predecessor. I guess they did it to keep it small and simple and lightweight. By the way, it's 158 grams now, so way less than the predecessor, 175, I guess. And it's just 7.4 millimeters thickness here. And it's really haptical grade, so maybe they wanted to avoid to have a second slot somewhere here in the right or left side. I'm not quite sure if this is the reason, just guessing here, but unfortunately, it's the way it is. With that, coming to the software is, like you might have seen already or heard, it's Android 6.01, so newest version. You have that Oxygen OS. I find it a little bit irritating that it's called an OS, because in my opinion, it's just user interface, because you have that natural stock vanilla Android like you know it, without anything changed, just some slight additions. For example, here, Task Manager, you go down there and have one-click swiped out all lately used apps. That's not possible, for example, with it vanilla Android. Or this is something I really love, tap to wake. Just double tap on the screen to wake it up from standby mode, for example. Or like I've showed you, O to open the camera, things like that. I really love that, especially because you have a lot of customization options here. For example, even that the front LED notifications, you can say, okay, which color, under which conditions. You can customize here your status bar and everything else, especially these buttons here. If you want to, I wouldn't know why, but you can have soft buttons here instead of that navigation below, because in that you have here back and Task Manager and fingerprint reader plus home button. So you have left all that screen just for your real content and not this thing here, that's a navigation bar. But you can if you want to. And of course, like some of you who are familiar with OnePlus, you can have settings for what's happening if you double click or long tap on these navigation screen and navigation buttons down there, and way more, of course, with this one. Here, I don't want to go too deeply because I just want to present you at the end some of the additional add-ons on the accessories. Let me come with that to the colors and availability. This is graphite model. There's a little bit later. I can't get any more precise information at the moment. This is graphite, and there's a soft gold a little later. I don't know, in days or weeks or month, soft gold. In the pictures, it's looking okay, not that cheesy gold or something. Seems to be okay. And last of all, I want to show you this alert button here on the left upper side. So I have three positions. The lower one, like this one here, is the regular one. Going to the middle setting here, you have priority notifications. And on the uppermost, you have that silent mode. That meaning, for example, night mode, silence mode, meeting mode, call it whatever you want to. And of course, again, you can have here alert slider, set what you want to happen in silent mode or in priority settings mode. For example, who can reach you, who is blocked with messages, with calls, and if media is blocked too on silent mode or muted and whatever. So I find that very much, it's quicker and more comfortable than looking for an app and having it, or sliding down and switching here. And so just one click here on that button there, and it's done. And for me, this is a sign, again, they are at OnePlus thinking about details like that. It's classy and well-crafted and okay, good in the details. You have, at least let's hope for it, you have with that vanilla Android quick updates and you have these additional features. So I find that concept very, very good. And so I can understand why a lot of you are so after these OnePlus phones and devices. With that, let me come to the additional things I found here. Don't ask me for the prices, please, but I've seen them, I've grabbed them, I wanted to show them. First of all is a VR set. It's a little bit reminding to, of course, the Samsung set, but it's not without any touchscreen or whatever here from the outside. That's for that additional strap I didn't attach. So nothing to do here, but it's way simpler because you just swipe your phone like this one. It's here very soft. So you have now and soft on the other side too. So I guess it will be not the most expensive VR set here, but you can have that attached to your head. And so you have VR and augmented reality and virtual reality experience with the OnePlus 3 and other OnePlus phones. And with that, coming to the shells. I've got some of them here. For example, this one. To be honest, I do not know why one should cover this very nice and solid aluminum unibody, maybe for protection reason. I'm not quite sure, but it's a little bit more. It's not so glossy. It's a little bit more like rubber. It's looking different. It's feeling warmer, of course, with this one. I really love that, but I don't find it very necessary. But I not know what they are costing, but I just want to present you, especially these wooden things here. I find very funny, and you have more over here and a black one. So just wanted to present you that you have the chance with this one here and the colors and everything. So again, it's coming right now. You can order from this minute on online, and it's for 399 euros or 399 US dollars. More prices again, like here down in the description. This one is graphite, and there will be soft gold a little bit later. I hope I could help you now with a little first impression here with the OnePlus 3. Thanks for watching. Take care and bye.